Hi, everyone. So excited for all of you to be here today on today's Monday Reset. And today is going to be workshoppy. So make sure you have some way to take notes, either on your computer, on a notebook, whatever best resonates with you. One of the Christmas gifts I actually got um, that I got 2 years ago is a remarkable. And if you're someone that likes to take notes and it resonates with you better if you're physically writing, it actually feels like you're writing in a notebook when you have one of those. So whatever is going to help you take action on the things that you learned today is where you should be taking notes. So if that helps you choose, then great. And what I'm going to do is once a month moving forward, I am going to have this format. We're going to have some conversations and I'm going to give you some specific things that you can take action on with a 7-day micro plan on how to just take your business and your calendar from this level to the next level. Some things you may already be doing, some things you won't, but we're going to have kind of a live mastermind on exactly what you guys decide to implement at the end of each of these. And nobody jump off because of that. You can participate to the level that you choose, and the more we participate, the more greatness everyone gets to add in. We're going to go ahead and get started. There's 2 different ways that elite leaders stay engaged, energized, and profitable. And all of you guys are leading your business. You're leading people inside your home. You're leading people out in the community. So every single one of you are leaders. And I actually took these from my elite level coaching conversations. And that's how I'll choose the topics for these once a month is I'm going to take little bits and pieces of the greatness of those really powerful high level conversations of what those people are working on, what's successful in their business. And I'm going to bring those to the table once a month as a topic on these resets. Don't worry, we're going to have them mostly weekly. Update for November, this is super important. I've been trying for half the year to get my friend Sahar, who is in Houston, to be a special guest on the reset call. She was traveling to Lebanon because she's Lebanese the last time that I tried to get her. She has a really powerful individual agent business model. She is in Gary Keller's top 100 individual agents. And she has a model where she has people working with her that are not necessarily on her team that help her leverage. And she trains and mentors them. And then they go, and whenever they start building their own business, she just hires someone else to support her so she can be home and present with her kids. So it's a slightly different model that many of you will be very interested in. She does pick her children up from 1 to 2. So next week on the 17th, we're going to have a special 2-hour Monday reset. She's going to be on with me from 12 to 1, and then we're going to have a conversation from 1 to 2 that will help you in your business and life. And we're not going to do one the week of Thanksgiving. And I'm going to schedule this as a model moving forward for every year. Well, we'll have a special one for 2 hours and not one on Thanksgiving week. And we're probably going to do a similar model in December. So just get ready for that. It's going to be unusual. So just go ahead and put it in your brain. 12 to 2 next week, and then not the following Monday. And there will be communication about it and the event inside of the Facebook group and all of that. Any questions about that? Excitements? You're not going to want to miss that one, by the way. Most of you would highly be benefited from that model. So you're going to love her. You're going to love how she's designed it. And I think that you would really enjoy being a part of it. Okay, so there's 2 types of ways to show up as a leader. You can either react to life and you can create it. And because you chose to show up to this call today, we know there's some or all of you that chooses to create your week this week versus just reacting to it. So today you're going to think about your habits. We're going to do a deep dive, and then you're going to choose a decision that's going to move you forward, either in money, time, or your energy, that's going to cause you to have a better business. All right. Are you excited about that? Yes? Okay, good. I'm just depending on all the people I can see your faces for the energy here. Okay. So let's think about for yourself right now. Let's do a quick audit and type it in the chat. If you think about these 3 things, engagement, energy, or profit, what's the one area that you need to improve on this upcoming week?
It was just
Pamela,
one of
the
them.
choices. What did you say, Pamela?
It's engagement, energy, or profit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Christina. Can we say all of the above?
Okay, perfect. All of them. All right. I actually thought you were typing the choices for everybody, Pamela, but that's perfect. Okay, so engagement, energy, profit. And so most of you who've already written that in the chat are choosing you need all 3. So I would just challenge you when you say that, when we're going through everything today, I want you to star each thing that you find valuable, but then choose which one you're going to focus on first, do that well, and add the next one in, right? because you need to build on it so that you can have confidence that you're building it in instead of trying to do everything at once, which is natural for those of us that want to get a lot accomplished to attempt that. And yet when we do something well, we can build on it. Okay, so one of the things that is so true over and over again is elite leaders pre-decide the week. What gets done, by who it gets done, and by when. And everyone asks, what one result makes this a winning week? And you can ask that question in all the different key areas. I'm going to have you focus that question on 3 key areas right now for the next 7 days. And we're going to see how this works. And I want you to send me your wins from focusing on it this way. So the 3 key areas are your lead gen or relationships. So specifically who you're going to be talking to, how many people you're going to be talking to, when you're going to be talking to them, and what you are offering them, inviting them to, or educating them on. Do you want me to say that again? Or did you get all of it written down? Everybody got it? Okay. The second key area that we're going to choose is listings or operations. So example would be, what moves this forward? So if you have a system that's stuck in your operations of your business, or if you have the inability to get enough listings for your business, or if you feel like there's a bottleneck somewhere in getting a listing sold, then you're going to think about, what is the one improvement I can make to my conversations, to my system, to my presentation? What information do I need to be the local expert? Right? Whatever is the small tweak of a system around your listings or operations. Number 3 is leverage. So this is going to be one delegation or system that you'll implement. Now, you all who know me, if you know me, you know that leverage is in 2 categories, right? It's in personal and it's in business. So you could need to hire a house cleaner. You could bring in someone to food prep for the week. It's whatever is going to cause you to get your time back so that you can focus on lead generation and having appointments. And we know business leverage could be marketing related, could be a hire. There's lots of different areas where you could be focused on that for your business now. Okay, everyone got the 3 priority areas? Yes? Okay. Everyone, I want to make sure you're all in the same path and that you don't have any questions so that you can take full advantage of this. So don't be afraid to speak up if you need something repeated. Now, here is the interesting part. When you're focused on these areas on your calendar, you're going to do them in that order. Build relationships and nurture relationships first, make improvements on systems or operations second, leverage third, because everything starts with relationships. And so many times we will lie to ourselves or get distracted intentionally and not build relationships and then blame it on other things, right? So don't do that. I know I wasn't talking to anyone here, just me. That only happens to me. Okay. So before you make your mind up, would it help to go ahead and time block the one thing that you need to improve on out of those 3 areas right now? Or do you already feel like your calendar is perfect for that for the next 7 days? Okay. So some of you, I can see your face and some I cannot. So what we're going to do is, for everyone who's on here, I want you to pull up whatever version of a calendar you follow consistently right now. If you don't follow it consistently, I want you to delete everything you're not doing. You don't have to do that now, but you need to do it before you go to sleep tonight. And start following through with the things that you put on your calendar. Because when you do that, you reestablish your relationship and your calendar becomes a part of your leverage in building your business. So everyone, I want you to build your focus block for what your number one thing needs to be. If you don't have enough leads for business, it needs to be relationship building, right? And you really need to make sure that you have at least 3 to 4 blocks on your calendar consistently for the week for that. So go ahead and pull up your calendar and do it right now so you don't have to stress over it later. If you already have that going well, then other parts of this are going to be for you. Now, I really want everyone to participate in this, and you can either type it in the chat or come off mute. Where are you saying yes that steals you away from the one thing that you just blocked time for? What usually gets in the way of you not already having that blocked out for the week? And then we're going to talk about it. So go ahead and type your answers or come off mute and share. Okay, let's see what people have shared. Everyone has a perfect schedule. Oh, okay, someone typed. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Nicole, thank you. Okay, so Nicole says, I get distracted by my family when I work from home. My block time always gets interrupted. Okay, anyone else get distracted by your family when you work from home? Okay.
No, I'm by myself.
So that's not your reason, Jeff. Okay, got it. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, you're focusing on item number 2. I agree with that, Pamela. And also, we literally just had this conversation and you're being super consistent. And she said, yes, no school tomorrow, huge distraction. Got it. Yeah. Okay, so you have to figure out what your buffer is. So whether it is just yourself blocking yourself from doing this, Jeff, or whether it is your family or whatever your answer was going to be that you usually do versus lead generating, if that is the one thing that you put on your calendar, you have to figure out when, what time of day, and that's going to be very unique to every one of you. You know, I'm never going to be here telling you there's only one way to do something. It needs to be the way you're going to do it. So you need to think about where can you actually commit to having that protected time in longer chunks of time so that you can be in the zone long enough for you to have success in the conversations and the relationship building. And when you're looking at that, you need to think about what your bunker is and how can you protect that time and communicate with the people around you. For you, Jeff, maybe you have an accountability partner that you message and say, hey, these are the times that I'm committed to reaching out to people. Can I just text you how many people I talked to that day, or that I direct messaged this many people, or that I was intentional about going to this event and talking to people? Every one of us benefits from figuring out who do we need to enroll in the accountability of us doing it, because many of us will show up for other people more than we'll show up for ourselves, and we won't let others down. So just think about what do you need in place such that you, this week, you decide I'm going to completely follow through with this and just see what happens. And we talked about something this morning on the huddle that's super applicable here. You want to make sure that you're tracking it. So either in the morning or at the end of the day, you just need to write down or put inside your CRM, whatever's easiest for you. How many people did you talk to? And how many appointments did you set? Because when you track it, you now know your personal magic formula, and you're not just guessing how many people I need to talk to or asking me or asking Nicole or Jeff. Because yes, there's a good number to start with, right? And so fall in love with 100 in the beginning if you don't know your numbers yet. But after 2 straight weeks of you taking 5 minutes at the end of the day to write down how many people did I talk to and how many appointments did I set, you're going to know your personal magic number, which is the most important number on this conversion, right? Hope and guessing is not a strategy. So when you know what your conversion is, you know exactly how many people you need to be talking to. It might be less than you think it is, but you don't know until you're tracking it long enough for you to understand your conversions. And numbers are the language of business, right? Okay. What were your top takeaways, action items, ahas from this section? Even if you are already nailing this, which I would just say, Pamela, I saw your focus on item 2. I do believe that you've gotten your calendar in a position where you're nailing this piece and that you're choosing to be consistent about it. And I'm really proud of you for that. So everyone else, write what you've gotten out of this category, and then we're going to move on to the next.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I have to say, it's hard to keep the calendar when the first thing that goes is my personal care. So I'm literally still wearing my gym clothes, have not worked out.
Okay.
But everything else is getting done. I don't like that feeling of I'm putting myself second, so I have to adjust.
Okay, I love that. Thank you for being so transparent, because we talk about that a lot. Last week's reset was specifically about health. And when you keep your commitments to yourself in the morning, it sets your confidence for the day and it takes care of your health. And if you don't take care of your health, you're not going to be here to take care of everyone else that you're serving right now, Pamela. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Most people do that. I'm guilty of that as well. So what needs to shift for you to be able to take care of yourself first?
I think it's just personal habits. I need to go to bed early so that I have energy to put myself first in the mornings.
Yes.
That's it. That's just it. But that cuts time from me spending time with my husband. So truly what I need to do is carve time in my day to spend with my husband. That's what I need to do.
Okay, well, I love that. So it's just the personal habits and then figuring out where to block the things that are most important for you, including your self-care and your husband, your relationship. And if you guys want to, anybody who struggles with their calendar, there was a specific one of these Monday reset calls I did where we went over the pillars and we actually identified the core areas that need to be present on your calendar every single week And so there's a recording for that. And also I have a tool for that that is in the drive for all the reset call tools. So if you need that, feel free to text me or send me an email and you can go and make sure you're identifying all of those pillars every single week on your calendar. And it helps with the well-roundedness. And then you just have to follow through with them, which all of us would support on, right? Thank you, Pamela. So good. Jeff wrote, I need to figure out who to talk to. Yes, 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 yes. It does no one any good for you to block on your calendar that you're going to go lead generate or build relationships and then have no idea what you're going to do during that time. Because what do you think happens when that time slot comes up on your calendar when you have no idea who you were going to talk to? Who wants to guess? I know you've never experienced this, but what happens?
I watch YouTube.
Yeah, perfect. You're going to go do anything else because you didn't have a plan and you weren't clear on what the first step is and who am I calling and what am I saying and what am I doing, right? So the block enough is that's never the point. So when you're doing your weekly plan for your calendar, you need to be really clear on exactly what am I doing, right? If it's November and you're thanking people for who they are in your life, you can make gratitude calls and then you can share with them if you have a giveaway coming up, if you are inviting them to your next event, or if you're going to be attending something, you can do that. You can ask them how their family is doing or what their goals are for next year. There are so many normal relationship building conversations that you can have. You just need to have the plan written down so you know what you're doing. So that's so good, Jeff. So I would challenge you as you're looking ahead at this week to get crystal clear on what are you saying to people and who are you calling before your time block for your legion. So just for each week when you do your planning, go pre-choose in advance. If you're going to do an open house or invite people to one, or if a great property just came on the market and you just want to make sure these people know about that. There's always different things you can be talking to people about. So even if you're talking to similar people at times, you don't always have to be talking about the same thing, right? Maybe you could talk to all of your favorite hunting people, Jeff. Because you're doing a great job with your consistent posts around that. Okay, let's dive into the 5 types of wealth. And I know, Pamela, earlier you said for your number 1 topic that we just talked about, you are focused on making sure that you identify any gaps in systems, operations, what moves things forward. So then you would make sure that you have that prioritized on your calendar for you to have systems time consistently, even still allowing white space though. I was very proud that you have white space on your calendar. So make sure that you have systems creation or improvement time on your calendar once a week at a time that you can ignore your phone, sit down, be in creative mode so that you can come up with the best possible solution because you're a really wise business owner. So you will come up with a great solution if you just have allocated time once a week to focus on it.
Well, there goes my white space.
Not all of your white space. Don't give it all up. But then when you're planning your week for next week, you know that's just a part of running your business. It could be a part of your CEO day if you have a CEO day already on your calendar. And then who on here, I want everyone to raise your digital hand or post in the chat. So who on here chose lead generation / relationships as the number 1 priority that you needed to get on your calendar this week? Anybody? Christina, Rem, yes? Okay. All right. So about half of you. And then who chose systems improvements? Okay. I know that Pamela did. And then who chose leverage? Personal leverage, business leverage. Okay. I don't see anyone that chose that. However, if you'd like to have a conversation about getting your time back, we can do that. So we're going to dive into the 5 types of wealth. This is a book that I've had a lot of the people that I've worked with in Realtors on Fire and also in the Legacy Collaborative focus on. And he was actually a speaker at Mega Camp this year. So it was pretty awesome to hear from him after we've been coaching together on it for a while. And just remember that your energy is a lagging indicator of your inputs. So we need to think about what inputs we're allowing into our life. Personally,
can you say that one more time? Say that one more
your
time.
energy is a lagging indicator of your inputs, whether it's food, water, lack of water, the kind of people you're around, the environment you're in, the sounds, the information you're allowing in, how much news you listen to, what kind of music you're listening to, right? All of those inputs cause if you're going to have energy or not, what food you put in your body, spiritually, what you're focused on, what the people around you are talking about, right? Okay. Most leaders don't need more hours. They need better charge cycles for their energy, which is kind of what we were talking about a little bit ago with Pamela. So we are going to think about this, and I love that you mentioned white space, Pamela, because this would be perfect. So this is something, if you decide to incorporate this, it can really help you throughout your day. And it's called the 3x3. So in the morning, having 10 to 15 minutes included in your morning of either intentional breath work, like taking deep breaths, or walking, prayer, affirmation, and drinking water. Some of you have longer spurts than that. I know a lot of you have adopted the miracle morning. A lot of you have different versions that are similar to that of what works for your mornings. But if for some reason your morning is not operating as perfectly as you know works for you right now, this is something I would definitely encourage you to start incorporating, is just having that present morning of the things that are going to set you up for success. Midday, have a 5-minute reset. And if you have multiple things you're working on, say you're lead generating, then you have a listing appointment, and now you are there making dinner for the kids, then you might choose to have a reset time on purpose between each of those so that you can bring the next version of yourself instead of what's left over. And a reset is just where you're standing there for a few minutes not with your phone in your hand, standing there for a few minutes, breathing, intentionally choosing who you want to show up as to the next thing you're going to focus on. Not what you're going to do, who are you going to be? And then in the evening, and we talked about this earlier, that it could be in the morning or at the end of the day, but it's a really nice thing in the evenings to write your wins list of what went well, small and big things. And then tomorrow's top thing that's going to define your win for the day. And then find a way to put your phone in a different room or away from you at least 30 minutes before bed. So that's just a 3-step little small action items that everyone here could fit into their day in less than an hour if they chose to. It actually ends up being right around 30 minutes of your entire day, just to be intentional about starting the day, taking breaks, and then wrapping the day up. All right. So I'm not sure if that was for everybody. You might already have really great habits. But I'm working intentionally on protecting time. I personally just incorporated a 90-day block before I go to sleep, or not 90-day. That would be amazing if I fit 90 days into one, but I did not. I have a 90-minute block that is from 8 to 9:30 at night for myself. And I'm doing the life acronym of just checking in on how did I do for the day. And also that's when I'm having my laser focus time of, are there things I need to create or any systems I need to improve? And the reason it's so late at night is because I have my workouts earlier in the day. I'm working out. I leave the house around 4 o'clock. I work out at 5. I have plenty of time to get back home. I'm not worried about anything else other than, am I going to take care of myself today? And that's a couple times a week. And then I have my morning time that I already do consistently each day. So it just depends on what works for you. When I want to be present in teaching a class or being in a coaching conversation, or what information do I need to put out there to move people forward in their business or their leadership, I don't want my all-in time where I'm not going to be focused on anything else to be in the middle of my day. And I want to be totally present with my family, or if I have dinner plans or whatever I have, much earlier than where I was last time, which is why I have my creative time before I go to bed now. So you just need to study what works for you and put it on your calendar at a time that works. Okay, what was helpful for you guys from this conversation? What are you going to incorporate? These are going to be a lot of tiny conversations today that if you adjust on these, it's going to make a big impact to your week. So what stood out for you around that conversation of morning, midday, and evening adjustments and tiny habits?
I guess for me, I used to have those habits, like those tiny habits, but when you don't surround yourself with the right kind of people, some of those things just seem to fall away. You have to be really intentional about the company that you keep and such. So I think getting back on the call, because I haven't been on the call in a while, getting back on the call kind of sparked that back in me. So I'm writing down what my time would look like, even by the hour of, just going back to what I created before. So for me, that's what it was, just getting back around the right people.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad you're here, and I'm happy I got to see you in person and on the call today. So I'm really glad you're here. And you're right. I mean, no one's listening to anything new. It's just, are you choosing to do this intentionally so you take care of yourself and you build relationships and you put yourself out there? The truth of the matter is the world has 1 million reasons that you could list of why you should live in fear or get protected or choose or protect yourself and everybody else and do nothing. and not create a business and not have financial freedom and not be able to give back to people who need us, which there are more and more of those every day right now, right? Or you can choose to surround yourself with the right people, choose these small, powerful habits, and help other people apply the same habits in their lives because our children are watching us. And you get to talk to your clients about these little small things that work for you. And then that connects you with people that you actually love working with when you talk about it, right? So this is just this really is like the butterfly effect of when you choose the tiny things that help you be the best version of you, it causes everything else to grow. And when you don't, you feel it. Even if you're performing at a semi-high level, you notice it, right? Okay. And who else? What did you get from this part? Nicole wrote, these are all the things I do sporadically, so making a habit of scheduling these in daily would be even more impactful. Thank you. That's really good. And then Rim wrote, leaving my mobile in another room before going to bed so I can get quality sleep. Yes, yes, yes. That is so good. Also, if you're someone that your brain just spins with multiple things that you have as unclosed loops at night, keeping a notepad by your bed so you don't use it as an excuse for you to have your phone still attached to you while you go to sleep. Keep a notepad by your bed and just write down any of those things right before you fall asleep that you want to make sure you're going to do the next day in any order. This is not time for you to worry about if it's perfect. You just need to get them out of your head so you can actually go to sleep. And in the morning, it's right there waiting for you, and you don't have to worry about if you're going to forget it. I have a lot of people that tell me they can't sleep with all the things in their head, so you just got to get it out of there. And your brain actually believes that you've taken an action towards doing whatever it is when you write it down. So that's why it stops reminding you. All right, what is one boundary that is going to give you back the most energy this week? One small boundary, one small shift. Okay, Nicole wrote safeguarding my block time. Okay, awesome. Who else? Waking at 6 a.m., Christina. Love it. All right. Well, I hope everyone has gotten something from this. We're going to actually move into the third category. What I promised on today's call, and the title was that you would be able to lead your week on purpose, which means you're engaged, which means other people are going to engage back with you because you're being purposeful about taking care of you, building relationships, and knowing what in the world you're doing, right? So we're leading on purpose. We're also being intentional about our energy because energy attracts energy. Remember, humans interact in energy. That is all of our common resource is energy. And so when you actually bring that to the table, it causes other people that have positive energy to want to interact with you, do business with you, be connected with you. So when you make those small, tiny things that we're all like, yeah, we know that, we just need to get it back on the calendar. Yes, and when we do, imagine what happens in our life, right? Okay, now the third area I promised that we would focus on today is profitability. I'm sure you were wondering when I was going to get to the math part. So profit is actually created in the calendar before it shows up in like your QuickBooks, right? You got to measure where your money is leaking, whether that is your contact conversion, which is why you're going to track daily what conversations you're having versus how many appointments, whether it is your hold rate after you set the appointment. So if you have a certain percentage of your appointments that are showing up, and you learn that it's less than average, then you need to figure out what are the small things you can do, like sending them a Google Calendar invite, confirming that they know the location, confirming if they've never used Zoom before, that they understand how to use the Zoom link ahead of time. So many small things that you can just adjust to make sure that your hold rate is a good percentage of your set rate if that's an issue for you. Also, your signing rate. So what percentage of the appointments you hold sign an agreement with you, and then what percentage of those initial listing or buyer representation agreements end up closing with you. And then your days on market, if it's a listing. I just had an amazing call with Tony DeCello and Diana Kokoska last week. That was just one of the Q&As that they offer that they're having on Zoom every Tuesday morning. If you want to know more about that, you're welcome to come to those, and I'm happy to send you a link. So just remind me if that's something you're interested in. But he said, and Tony's been one of the most well-respected coaches in the entire industry for many years. He's coached many, many, many top agents over the years. And what he said is an unpopular opinion, and I'm going to repeat it anyway. What he said is, if you list a property and you don't get a full price or more offer in 7 days, it is not priced right. He said price is 90% of the marketing. And when you get it and when you have that conversation, your listings are going to sell faster than anyone else's. And then when you sit down at a listing appointment and someone is competing with you that has sold 1,000 houses and you're able to say, I'm getting things under contract in 7 days, that is going to give you a competitive edge. So you being a true guide to the people that you are working with is everything. So we're going to talk about a model for this piece of it that's called the 7-day revenue sprint. So out of those things we just talked about, and I'm going to go over them again really quick. So if you have any money leaking where you're spending money on something you're not getting an investment or a return on investment in your business, if you are not having enough of your contacts turn into appointments, if your appointments are not holding, if they're not signing an agreement with you, or if they're not going from agreement to close with you and you need to work on that, or you're having your listing sit too long. So those are the options here. I want each of you to choose one thing that is not in alignment for you. Is it that you're not setting enough appointments? They're not holding? Which one of those things? And then type in the chat which one you're going to focus on for this exercise. A secret would be, if you're not holding enough appointments, then you probably need to start with appointments because all the rest of those are kind of a byproduct, right? We have to have listings to see if they're going to sit or not. Okay, appointments for Nicole. Money leaking. So holding your dollars accountable. Got it. That's so good, Christina. Okay, which one are you guys focused on? Because there's other things we're going to do that are in alignment, so you have to choose something. Appointments and money leaking. Okay, Jeff, got it. All right. I imagine that everyone who hasn't had a chance to type in the chat that you've chosen one as well. So here's the exercise we're going to do with it. You're going to choose a daily target. Now, be careful with this one because if many of you said that you want to set more appointments, you've been taught, depending on your environment, that you need to have a certain minimum number of contacts a day. I want you to have whatever your daily target is for if you're measuring, if you're leaking money, you might think about, I'm going to look at my bank account every day and I'm going to look at my profit and loss statement, right? That's one small daily target if that was your answer. If you're saying I'm going to set more appointments, then you need to think about, okay, I'm going to start off with, I'm committing to talking to 10 people every day because you might be in a class. You might be on vacation. This needs to be something, this is not your 3-hour time block for lead gen. That's not what we're talking about. What is your minimum commitment based on the gap that you know you have in your business for you to aim for this week, including today? And then just write down what your daily target is. And then you're thinking about specifically if your daily target is 10 touches a day because you are working on setting appointments. In that case, we need to figure out what is your offer or call to action. If you're working on something money related, money leaking related, then what is your action plan for that? Are you going to be making a phone call to reduce your insurance? Are you going to be figuring out that you don't have a budget in place? You need to have an action associated. Okay. So you're going to have a daily target of what are you doing? And then you need to have time to actually figure it out. If you're doing lead generation, this is where you need to figure out what are you offering to people? Are you inviting them to something? Are you sharing with them that this luxury property just went on the market? It is a clear offer or call to action before you start reaching out so that you feel totally confident in the conversation. And then we want to think about proof. So this is like a social post or text thread with 3 micro case studies of what's going on in the business. Now, if you chose money leaking, this part may or may not be related to what you're working on, but it could be. Example would be if you're reducing your phone bill, or if now you're choosing to get a different car so you have a different car payment, whatever the decisions are that you make financially, there are things related to that you could share a small story about, even not naming yourself, to help the people that you know take action in the same way. And when you help bring value to their life financially, it puts them in your world in a way that they're talking about money. And the people that are liking and commenting and having any kind of engagement with those kind of posts related to money are going to be people that you need to be calling for lead generation because you can help move them forward and they need to go in your database. And you're going to, I promise you, because this is something, thankfully, I've had a chance to help a lot of people with over the years. When you make an impact for people financially in any small or big way, you have a lot closer relationship with them because people don't like to talk about it. They like to just live on the surface in this bubble, at like everything is perfect, even if it's not, or then they're falling apart and there's nowhere in between because nobody talks about it with each other. So when you put yourself out there to be that kind of partner and move people forward in that way, it changes your relationship. So proof, which is just social post or text thread with case studies. And then number 5 is a money meeting, 15 minutes on Friday, no matter what bottleneck you chose. So we all know I'm a big fan of a monthly money day that's more in depth of your personal net worth, your profit and loss statement. This is a 15-minute Friday check-in where you review your numbers and decide what next week's lever is going to be. So whether it is setting appointments, saving on money, whatever it needs to be, but at least you're looking at it and thinking about it consistently because there's such power in that thinking time every single week. And remember, what happens next for you in this week is going to decide your next 90 days. All right, so what did you get out of that part? What did you write down? What action are you taking? Feel free to come off mute.
I wrote some things down, but I'm a little too ashamed to share since
okay.
mine was about money leaking. So, but I guess I could share one of them, micro spending. That gets me in trouble. Just
Can you
running
share
the
a little bit
store.
more about what that means for people in case it's helpful for them?
Running in the store and grabbing this or thinking that this would be good for my business because it's on sale and I can convert it to something when in actuality it sits in a bin and never gets, just because it's on sale. So that's probably the biggest problem I have is the micro spending.
I love that. Thank you. That's actually something that tons and tons and tons of people do in this business. It doesn't matter what size business they have either. They can have a huge business, get an idea, see a shiny object, or just have a small moment that they think this is going to be exciting. So what I love about that the most, Christina, is this time of year is when you should have a budget ready for your next year in business. So when you choose what your profit's going to be and you choose how much money you have to allocate to marketing, to selling your listings, for your technology, whatever your categories are, then you have flexibility inside of that from month to month to spend that amount of money as long as you're bringing in the revenue, right? And when you have that flexibility, you can make a choice and then you can test it out of, did I have a return on this or not? And you play red light, green light from month to month on that. So even though it is kind of like funny to think about when we fall into that habit, of like, oh, this was a pretty shiny object, let me do that. There is a way for you to apply that creativity and autonomy that we all love having in our business in a proactive way, knowing how much money we have to allocate to do things, and then having a system to test whether it caused us to have business or not. And when you find yourself stuck, I mean, the great thing is we have access to each other. We have access to the community. You can feel free to ask those questions inside the Legacy Collaborative of what fun, creative things are you doing right now that are actually causing you to have business. One of those is I know someone that in Wilmington, North Carolina, she was one of the agents that I helped grow. She's amazing. She does a light fight. So she actually has all the people in her neighborhood do a Christmas light contest. And then she also chose 2 other neighborhoods that she really wanted to increase her market share in. And everyone has to vote. So she has a Google form because of the light fight signs. She has a Google form where she collects their database information because they have to put it in to vote. So not only is she creating fun and she has her signs in the yard, even though she's not even listing the properties right now, but people are seeing her signs, and then they have the light fight information. Next to nothing. All she's paying for is those cardboard signs, and these people are competing with their Christmas lights, and she's adding fun and festivity to the season. She just started it a couple years ago. So my point is, you can get the same satisfaction that happens when you're thinking, oh, what about this fun thing or this creative thing to spend money on? You can figure out, how do I make what I have to do that's going to cause me to get what I need fun, instead of viewing those things I need to be doing as stagnant or boring, and I don't want to do that. And that way you can get both the fulfillment of doing something new and different and actually get results from it. So thank you for bringing that up because that's so common, and it's really important to understand we can make whatever we need to do fun in a way that we love it. It's your business. You're all in environments where everybody that you have been around in real estate thinks that their way of doing it is how you need to do it, which is awesome that they're willing to share, but you need to do what you're going to enjoy most that's going to get you the biggest return.
That's why you can't do all forms of lead
No,
generation.
you
Like
cannot.
if you hate open houses, why are you going to put yourself through open houses?
Yes.
Or if you hate door knocking or if you hate cold calling, like find the one that works for you, that brings you happiness. And the other thing, just adding to that, is that sometimes we are doing lead generation and we don't call it that. So for example, yesterday and I'm only saying this because I'm listening to Sandra.
I was like, you are guilty of thinking that you're not lead generating.
I am so guilty of it. Yesterday I went to an event in my community. Somebody was, hey, all plant lovers come and meet in my house and let's do a plant swap.
That's
So I
good.
went. It's super cute. Went, got so many free plants, added 10 people to my database. And that was my fun time. That was not me lead generating according to me. Walked out of there with 10 new contacts, all in the community that I want to serve.
And how much did that cost you to go to the plant swap?
Nothing. It was my
Right.
time off. It was my
You were
me
having
time.
fun. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. That's such a specific, clear example. And what I want you to hear is you can go do what you love in life and have business because of it if you're intentional, right? And so stop complaining that you don't love your life and complaining you don't love your business, and go figure out, how do I love my life in a way that I get to connect with people who like the same things, where I'm going to love working with them. We get to choose if we create that or not. I don't even like to think about that myself, that we get to choose, because I'm not perfect at it either. When we go all in with it, it causes a really big impact, and other people need us too, by the way. The reason that person did that, Pamela, is because she wanted to connect with other people. So connect with people in a way that you need it, because other people need it too.
Spoiler alert, she was actually lead generating. She
Oh,
owns a plant business. And what she does is that when you're away on these fabulous trips that, for example, Nicole does, and she forgets about her plants, she comes to your house and takes care of your plants, or you drop them off at her house so that she can keep them alive.
that's amazing.
Isn't that cute? So she has like her own little nursery. Her house looks like a little jungle. So she was lead generating.
That is so perfect. And now here's what I'm going to add on to that. And I hope all of you are listening to this whole thing. I want you to do a deep dive into what Pamela is sharing, because do you think that the people that she helps could be ideal clients for you, Pamela?
Yes, of course.
100%.
We're already thinking about doing something together.
Yes, that's what I want everyone to think about here. So when Pamela found that out, that that's her business in her head, because she already thinks this way, it's so easy for her to help that person get more business, because she can provide a service to her existing database and the people in her neighborhood that no one else is providing. Hey, did you know someone can come take care of your plans for you? Great. Now I'm going to call all the people in my neighborhood that I'm focused on, or all the people that are ideal clients for me, my VIPs, and say, hey, I have this 5% discount on plant care. I just wanted to make sure you even knew this was a thing. I just learned about it. And now you're adding value to them,
Oh,
right?
great idea. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Great idea.
Well, I mean, you just know her, right? So you literally can just create those partnerships. You're now adding value to that person, to your people, and they know what it's like to work with you. You add all these different things because you think about, how do I become a partner to the people that I get to meet? It's good. Okay, thank you. All right, so what we're going to go over is what we reviewed today. You're going to pre-decide your week every week. We talk about that all the time. So if you don't already have that planning time weekly on your schedule, do it, do it, do it. And then thank me later. You're going to be really clear on the number one focus for your week and what you need to be more consistent, then follow through with it, and then rinse and repeat. If something gets in your way, just figure out what got in your way and what you can improve on it for next week. I just did a 3-day AI event with Tony Robbins and Dean Graciosi. I didn't get to attend all of it, but what I did attend was amazing. One of the things that Tony mentioned on the very last day is his biggest gift is nothing special, which I think most people know his story. He grew up poor. Sometimes they didn't have food when he was little, which is why he's fed so many people across the world, and that's his passion. But what he said was, he just makes decisions faster than other people. He just makes decisions. The reason why most of us have a gap in any area that we don't have what we want in our life, whether it's personal relationships, our health, our spiritual life, whatever it is, it's because we hesitate on decisions and we allow fear to take over instead of just making the decision and making another decision and making another decision. And he used this example of a big political figure in the past that asked someone else that was like a general in the military in that particular time, how did you just make a decision without having all the answers? And he said, well, those two that I just asked their different opinions on what decision I should make and gave them 30 minutes to tell me, they've been arguing over what decision we should make for 12 years. I don't have all the information, but I made a decision and we'll know really soon if it was right or not. So just making sure that we make choices and that we take actions faster is what causes us to be a creator in life instead of a victim. And is what causes us to have time and money to make an impact for other people. So every time we choose not to be a decision maker and to allow every other reason in our head to get in our way and fear to get in our way, all of the people that we can serve inside our business, inside our home, and outside of our business and home are negatively impacted because we're choosing to focus on anxiety, fear, emotions, blah, 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 blah. So you get to choose if you're going to be someone that shows up for people or if you're going to allow fear and anxiety to get in your way. And when you realize that you're choosing the one you don't want to, the next moment you can choose different. All right. Since we were talking about specifically the next 7 days, I want everyone to choose what is your one measurable outcome that you're going to have happen in the next 7 days based on what we talked about today. It could be workout related. It could be you're going to set a number of appointments. It could be you're going to legion to a certain number of people for two-way conversations. It could be that you're actually going to have a clear plan for who you're calling for the first time in your whole business life, right? Whatever that is for you, I want you to choose what is your clear one measurable goal that you're going to have happen this week. And go ahead and come off mute and say it or type it in the chat.
I think I know what I want it to be, but I don't know if I've sorted out in my mind how I should do it. My son is a swimmer, and we spend most of our time at the pool every weekend during competition season. I spend way too much time with those people, and I've not asked one single person for their business. I think they know that I'm a realtor because I used to have a sign on the back of my truck, but I don't talk about real estate with them or anything like that. So I want to some kind of way like reintroduce myself to these people that I'm a realtor, rather that's being the team mom and now I bring the bananas and the oranges or whatever. And so they know me as the team mom realtor. I don't know,
Okay.
but that's what I'd like to do because like I said, I spend an awful lot of time with these people from seeing them at the pool at practice. My son practiced 6 days a week. Like I see them all the time. And that's the
Okay.
only place that I'm not leveraging.
Okay. I love that. You're in deep relationship with these people. You guys are all there for your kids, so you have commonality. So I would just say if anyone else has something that they are a part of like this is something for you to think about too. I just want you to think about, to your point of becoming the team mom, what is a way that you can add value to their lives? Because we all make up in our mind that we're asking people for something instead of wanting something, or we're asking people something from people instead of wanting something for them. So anytime you're stuck on how do I build deeper relationships so these people know that I'm a real estate agent, ask, what is a small thing I can do for them in a way that we can have a conversation? So Christina's example, if it was that she became the team mom, okay. Or she could say, we're going to have a kids celebration, or we're all going to go to a random restaurant locally for pizza together or something like that. I don't know if you would want them to have pizza, but we're all going to go here. I scheduled it. I would love to just spend more time with all of you guys. And then you get to know what they have coming up for next year and intentionally ask them while you're in a setting where you're all hanging out together and just say, hey, I'm working on my plans for next year right now. What do you have planned for next year? How can I support you? Do you have any personal goals? Do you have any business goals? I really care about helping every single person I know grow their business. Do you have anything I can do to support you? Right? So just think about how can you just come from contribution, and in that conversation, it will come up that you're working to help people in real estate as well. And make sure you have their contact information on all of your dips and everything too. Thank you for bringing that up. That's really good. And I'm excited to hear about that. Okay. What did you guys come up with? 100, you guys stayed on this call. So let's see here. Nicole, talking to 10 people a day in an intentional way. Great. Awesome. And then Nicole, set a hard schedule for myself. It will prioritize my business goals and prioritize her business goals and tasks. So set a hard schedule for herself, healthy habits, health and energy, and the time she needs for pouring into others in her life. I love that. So good. Okay. Who else did not share what your focus is for this week? It is 2:03, and I know that you did not choose to be here for an hour without you having a takeaway. Who else? Jeff, what is your focus?
I've got to get back to doing more like Instagram posts and stuff where I was doing. I kind of get a little bit, I'm still doing it, but I'm not doing like some of the intentional, education, that type of stuff.
Okay.
I got to kind of get back to a little bit of that more than I have been here lately.
So for the next 7 days, what's the one measurable thing that when we come back next week, you want to celebrate that you did?
I guess I don't know how to answer your question.
If you're posting on Instagram, then you could choose, and you can text me later if you want to think about it for a minute, but you could choose that you're going to direct message 50 people that responded to your message, or that you're going to call the first 10 people that like it, or
50. I ain't you, Sandra.
No, it's well.
I don't think I have 50 people on my Instagram.
Okay, so then you need to figure out making sure that you're posting in the places that your people are, in addition to being consistent on Instagram. But also just set a specific goal so that you know that you followed through with it. Because for all of us, so thank you for answering that way, because for all of us, when we have a general answer and we're not specific, we have no way of knowing if it's up to opinion for ourselves if we did our best or not, right? So this is not about any of us choosing your goal for you. But when you're really clear on what specifically am I looking to accomplish and you do that, even if you said it was 3 posts on Instagram and then I'm going to also post them on Facebook, right? Whatever that is, then at least you know you followed through with the things that you were going to do.
Yeah, all mine cross over anyway. So
Don't let it automatically populate. Make sure that it is native on the platform.
Well, if I post on Instagram, it goes to Facebook automatically.
You can turn it off.
Why would I want to?
Because native is what gets traction. You can use the exact same content. You can literally just take that same post, same words, no more work, 2 seconds, and post it directly on the platform, and people will see it more because Meta pays attention to that.
I got you.
You don't have to turn it off permanently, but just go post it in both places. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Who else? What's your one focus for this week? Okay, well, I am going to let everyone wrap it up. No more micro spinning. Wake up at 6, 30 minutes before the kids, start planning your week on Sunday. Love that, Christina. So good. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I am so grateful for all of you. You participated at a really high level, and I want you to just post on the Legacy Collaborative when you have wins from this. If you want extra accountability, go post what you're focused on this week right after this inside the collaborative, and then you'll be able to celebrate next week that you did it, which also could get you referrals from people in other parts of the country because there are lots of people in there. And don't forget to invite people to the Legacy Collaborative that are your referral partners. That's a way to add value to them and just to share with them that you would love to still be their referral partner in your area as you go into next year. So have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to all of you soon. Bye.